I never thought a simple summer afternoon could flip my world upside down, but it did. The air was heavy with the smell of sunscreen and chlorine. The sky above was a spotless blue, the kind of day that begged you to forget everything else and just float. I wasn't supposed to be there alone. I was supposed to be hanging out with Emma, my best friend since middle school. But Emma had run inside to grab her phone charger, leaving me stretched out by the pool, soaking up the quiet hum of cicadas. That's when it happened. The sliding glass door opened, and I heard the soft sound of sandals against the deck. I looked up and froze. It wasn't Emma. It was her mom, Lauren. She wasn't just any mom. She was the type of woman who turned heads. Without trying, tall, graceful, with soft auburn hair pulled into a loose bun. Even in something as simple as a light summer dress, she radiated elegance and confidence. I had known her for years, but lately I had started noticing things I shouldn't. The way her laughter lingered in the air, the warmth in her eyes when she asked how my day was, the quiet strength she carried in every step. And now, standing there in the golden sunlight, she looked breathtaking. I quickly pulled my sunglasses down to hide my eyes, heart thudding in my chest. "Riley," she said, her voice smooth, teasing almost. "All by yourself? Emma abandoned you already?" I laughed nervously. "Yeah, she's inside. I'm just waiting." Lauren smiled, and for a second, I thought she was going back inside. But instead, she walked over to the pool's edge, kneeling down so close I could see the freckles dusting her shoulders. "You know," she said softly, "you've grown up so much. I still remember when you used to come here after school, dripping popsicle juice on my kitchen floor." I groaned, covering my face with my hand. "Please don't remind me." Her laugh sent a shiver down my spine. Warm, musical, too intimate for the middle of a sunny afternoon. "Don't worry," she added, her eyes sparkling. "You've turned out beautifully." My breath caught. Did she really just say that? Or was I imagining the faint emphasis on beautifully? Before I could respond, Emma's voice called from inside. "Riley, wanna help me pick out a swimsuit? Saved, or maybe ruined." Lauren stood, smoothing the hem of her dress, her eyes lingering on me just a moment too long before she turned toward the house. That one look sent a wave of confusion crashing over me, want, fear, guilt all tangled up. I knew I shouldn't think of her that way. She was my best friend's mom. She was twice my age. She was off limits. But as I slipped into the pool, letting the cool water swallow me whole, I couldn't erase the memory of her voice, her smile, the way she had looked at me. That was the beginning of everything I didn't see coming. That evening, the house was alive with laughter. Emma had invited a couple of friends over, and the backyard glowed with strings of fairy lights. Music drifted through the warm air, and the pool shimmered like liquid glass under the stars. I told myself I was fine. I told myself I could just ignore what had happened earlier. Pretend that the way Lauren looked at me meant nothing. Pretend the pounding in my chest was just nerves. But every time she moved across the yard, carrying snacks or refilling drinks, I noticed. I noticed everything. The way her dress brushed against her legs, the curve of her smile when she spoke, the way she laughed softly at Emma's jokes, and sometimes, though maybe I only imagined it, her eyes found mine. A flicker, brief but electric, like a spark hidden in the dark. Hours passed. The music quieted. The guests trickled home, and Emma finally yawned, stretching her arms. "I'm dead," she said with a laugh. "Movie night tomorrow?" "Yeah," I agreed. She headed inside, and just like that, I was alone again. Or so I thought. I slipped into the pool one last time, the cool water soothing against my warm skin. Floating on my back, I stared at the stars, breathing deep. That's when I heard its soft footsteps on the deck. I turned. Lauren stood there, barefoot now, holding a glass of wine. The fairy lights wrapped around her, painting her in gold. She looked less like someone's mom and more like a goddess who had accidentally wandered into a suburban backyard. Couldn't sleep? She asked, her voice low, almost conspiratorial. I shook my head. Too much sugar, I guess. She smiled, stepping closer to the pool. Or maybe too much thinking. I swallowed hard, pushing my hair back from my face. Maybe both. For a moment, silence stretched between us, filled only by the ripple of the water. Then she crouched by the pool, her hand trailing across the surface. You've changed, Riley, she said softly. You're not the little girl who used to sneak extra cookies from my kitchen. I laughed nervously, but my chest tightened. Her words weren't casual. They carried weight, meaning. People grow up, I whispered. Yes. Her eyes locked on mine. They do. The air shifted, thick with something unspoken. I don't know what possessed me, but I swam closer until I was just a few feet away. The world felt suspended, the cicadas, the stars, the faint hum of the lights all fading behind the thrum of my heartbeat. Lauren's hand was still in the water, her fingers tracing lazy circles. On impulse, I reached up, my fingertips brushing hers beneath the surface. She didn't pull away. Instead, she stilled. Her breath caught. Her gaze softened in a way that made my pulse race faster than it ever had before. This is dangerous, she whispered, but her hand remained where it was, resting against mine in the water. I know, I breathed, her lips parted, like she was about to say something more, but instead, she just looked at me, really looked at me like she was seeing me for the very first time. It was only a second. A stolen, impossible second. Then she stood abruptly, pulling her hand away, retreating a step. Her composure slipped back into place, like a curtain falling. You should get some sleep, she said, her voice steadier now. And just like that, she turned, walking back toward the house, the fairy lights trailing behind her like a halo. I floated in the pool, my chest burning with something I couldn't name, because in that moment, I knew whatever this was between us, it wasn't just in my head. Something had changed, and there was no going back. The next morning felt surreal. Emma was cheerful, buzzing around the kitchen, humming while she made pancakes. I forced myself to smile, to laugh at her jokes, but my chest was still caught in the memory of the night before, the way Lauren's fingers had lingered against mine, the way her voice had cracked when she whispered, "This is dangerous." Dangerous. The word followed me like a ghost. When Lauren finally came downstairs, I couldn't even look at her. She was dressed casually, jeans, a fitted shirt, but she carried herself like nothing had happened. She kissed Emma's cheek, ruffled her hair, and poured herself coffee, as if the world hadn't shifted beneath us. And maybe that was what scared me most, because my world had changed completely. The day dragged. Emma and I lazed around, watching movies and playing silly games, but I was restless. Every time Lauren walked through the room, my skin prickled. Every time her eyes brushed past mine, my stomach flipped. By the evening, I couldn't take it anymore. I slipped out to the backyard again, the pool glimmering in the dusk light. Sitting on the edge, I dipped my feet into the water, trying to breathe. That's when the sliding door opened. Lauren stepped out, alone. The sight of her made my heart stutter. She carried no wine glass this time, no playful smile, just a quiet, searching expression that made me feel completely exposed. I thought I might find you here, she said softly. I swallowed. Couldn't sleep last night either? Her lips curved into a faint, tired smile. Not exactly. She moved closer, her steps measured, deliberate, until she was standing just a few feet away. The air between us hummed with everything we hadn't said. Finally, she broke the silence. Riley, we can't keep pretending last night didn't happen. My chest tightened. I know. Her eyes flickered, vulnerable for the first time. You're Emma's best friend. She paused, shaking her head. You're too young. I shouldn't even be thinking. But I cut in, my voice trembling. But you are thinking it. her breath hitched. The honesty hung heavy in the air, undeniable. Slowly, I stood, the water dripping from my legs, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. I don't know what this is, Lauren, but it's not nothing. You feel it too, don't you? Her jaw tightened, her hands curling into fists at her sides, as if she was holding herself back. For a moment, I thought she'd deny it, that she'd laugh it off, dismiss me like a silly girl with a silly crush. But she didn't. She whispered, broken and raw, yes. The sound of it shattered something in me. I stepped closer, so close that I could see the flecks of gold in her hazel eyes, the way her breath trembled. My hand lifted on instinct, brushing against her arm. She didn't move away. Instead, she closed the last inch between us. Her lips touched mine. It was soft at first, tentative, questioning, like both of us were afraid the world might collapse if we pushed too far. But when I leaned in, when she cupped my face with trembling hands, the kiss deepened, blooming into something desperate and real. The pool lights glimmered beside us, casting reflections that danced across her skin. My entire body buzzed with the weight of it, the danger of it, the rightness of it. When we finally pulled apart, our foreheads rested together, our breaths mingling. "This can't," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "We can't let it, I know." I cut in, my voice breaking. "But I don't regret it." Tears filled her eyes. "Neither do I." The moment didn't last. The sound of Emma's laughter drifted faintly from inside the house, grounding us back in reality. We jumped apart, guilt flashing across both our faces. Lauren turned quickly, wiping her eyes. "Go inside, Riley, please." But I shook my head, stepping forward again. Lauren, her voice hardened, though her eyes betrayed her softness. "No, not now. Not like this." And just like that, she walked away, slipping back into the house, leaving me trembling by the pool with the taste of her kiss still burning on my lips. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I replayed it, her confession, her kiss, the way her hands had held me like she was terrified and alive all at once. The morning came too soon. Emma was chipper, dragging me back into normal routines, but I couldn't focus. My mind was a storm. When it was finally time for me to leave, Lauren lingered by the doorway. Our eyes met, just for a heartbeat. No words, no smile, just a look so heavy with unspoken meaning that I carried it with me long after I left. Weeks passed. Emma and I stayed close, but I didn't return to her house often. I told myself it was better this way, safer. But sometimes when I was alone, staring at the ceiling in the dark, I swore I could still feel the ghost of her touch, still hear her whisper, yes, and I knew the truth. That one summer, one night, one forbidden kiss had changed me forever. Because sometimes, love doesn't come in the form you expect. Sometimes it arrives like a storm, dangerous and unstoppable. And no matter how hard you try, you can't pretend it never happened.